Welcome crypto friends and welcome back to MMCrypto. My name is Chris and today we have a very special guest, the one and only Vays. So thank you so much for being here. We are very glad to have you here, the one and only, the real one. How are you today?
Thanks, Chris. I'm doing great. Glad to be on, sporting a nice new haircut. Man, I love it.
Yeah, you really have some serious stuff to talk about. So this episode will be very interesting. We will talk about some different things like the current movements in the market, where the market might be heading in the next few weeks or month. We will talk about things like Ethereum. You have a very strict opinion on that. On the altcoin section, ICOs backed. So it will be very interesting. Really looking forward to that. And yeah, talking about that, guys, we really want to incentivize you again to subscribe to two different channels. First channel is not so important like the second one. The first channel is our channel. Subscribe to it for more crypto content. The second channel is Vays content channel. He uploads like every day, talks for hours. It's crazy. Subscribe to it. He has predicting some kind of the Bitcoin future for a long time. Has been working on the Wall Street, JP Morgan and stuff, serious stuff. Go to the comment section and to the description and we will put the link down below. So talking about that, guys, all your questions in the comment section, everything will be answered by us within 24 hours and like the video. Going to the first question right now is what everyone is interested in because, yeah, like, let's be honest, everyone is looking at the prices. So let's ask you, we want to ask you something about the current market movements. We have seen a major up spike and we want to know what's your take on that. I mean, back in the days, you said that, a few weeks back actually, you said that Bitcoin will probably go below 6,000 with a probability of 95%. And yes, surprise, you were correct with that. It went below 6,000 and it went significantly below. So, yeah, what's actually the probability, because everything has a probability function attached to it, for going below 3,000 actually, seeing a new all-time low since December. And what's actually the probability that we actually started off in the bull market?
Yeah, thanks for being very specific about the fact that everything is a probability. And a lot of people don't understand that. So when I say Bitcoin is going below 6,000, back when I said it, I was even saying 5,000. I was giving it a 90% probability that we would go below 5,000. Mm-hmm. And people think that it's with absolute certainty 100%, and that's not true. As long as I have a 55%, as long as in my head I expect a greater than 50% likelihood that we're going to go below a certain level, I'm going to assume we're going below a certain level. So it may come off like a certainty, but it never is. I've been posting these percentages, my percent probabilities, every time Bitcoin dropped significantly by 1,000. I haven't posted one after it dropped below 4,000 because it fell so quickly. I was waiting for it to fall below 3,000. It never did. But I'm still expecting that. So at the moment, we are rebounding. I thought that we overshot. I thought that this big drop, I expected us to rebound from the $4,000 area, go back to the $6,000 area, and then go to 3,000 and under 3,000. We overshot 4,000 pretty quickly, dropped down to 3,100. So because we fell so much, I no longer expect us to rebound all the way to 6,000. I'm now looking for a rebound to the $5,000 to $5,500 area. And I know we're already talking about this when Bitcoin is above 4,000, but I did put a bullish position on Bitcoin. I made it public, and I'm looking for this rebound to go above 5,000, but I still have a greater than 50% probability that we are going below 3,000. Even today, I'm expecting probably a 60% likelihood that we go below 3,000. And if we do go below 3,000, then we can discuss whether we're going to go below 2,000. I just don't think this bear market is over. I think there is still some more pain that we need to deal with before we can reverse to the upside for good.
Mm-hmm. So you are basically also referring now to some existing overvaluations in the market. So referring to that point, you said And it was 1.5 years back in time. On the 26th of June on Twitter, you said that Ethereum is a scam. And like today, it's Friday night in Germany, and it's Friday evening in the US. So 1 hour ago on your recent live stream, you said that it was funny, man. It was maybe also the reason why many people clicked this video. You said that Ethereum will fall below 20 cents. So maybe you can give us some kind of a more in-depth insight on that sentence.
Sure. So the reason why I said 20 cents is because if my memory serves me correctly, that was the very first sale of their initial coin offering. So the ICO that Ethereum did, those that jumped on it early were able to buy the ICO at 20 cents payable in Bitcoin. The way I see it is Ethereum is no different than any other ICO, except Ethereum has so many issues. I can talk about them all day. For those that want the details on those issues, please find the Ethereum crypto scam episodes on my YouTube channel. There are currently 3 Ethereum crypto scam episodes. I still need to do a 4th, so I can briefly summarize them. The first one was about the fact that Ethereum was an unregistered security, uncompliant security, and to me, Ethereum was always fraudulent from day one, which is why I never participated in their crowd sale ICO. I saw it as an unlicensed security. So they have a regulatory issue. They are regulatable because I believe that there was a centralized entity that created the ICO. Ethereum's second problem was my second podcast, is the fact that no one really needs decentralized smart contracts. The whole concept of smart contracts is a self-executing contract. Making it decentralized makes absolutely no sense economically. Decentralization is used to prevent censorship, but contracts are the opposite of that. Contracts foster economic activity. They're not really being censored other than very, very illicit contracts. So you don't need the inefficiency of a blockchain for your smart contracts. You just need a database that works. And that brings us to point number 3 of Ethereum, which is the fact that they are an unscalable mess. Technologically, Ethereum can't scale. Ethereum came out in 2015, 6 years after Bitcoin. Their blockchain is about 3 times the size of Bitcoin, growing exponentially. Their solutions are experimental. I don't think they have any means of technologically implementing those solutions, even if they would technologically work. Mm-hmm. And the 4th point is the economic model. Ethereum created their own money for absolutely no reason. If you want to execute a smart contract, you shouldn't have to pay it in the currency of Ethereum. You should pay for your execution in the currency that you already have. So all 4 of these problems plague many other ICOs. Ethereum has all of them. So as we already saw, 60-80% of all ICOs have gone back under the initial price that they sold their ICO at. I don't see Ethereum as any different. I'm sorry, guys, Ethereum is not different. It's like any other project. And to me, the only fundamentally legitimate project in all of crypto space, the only currency that is worth holding Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin. And every other currency I expect to die. So because Ethereum started out at 20 cents, I expect it to go there, because in the future, no one's going to be using it because no one needs it. If you do want your decentralized smart contract for whatever God knows what reason, Bitcoin sidechains will do it even better than Ethereum, just not yet, because it needs to properly scale.
Okay, yeah, because we wanted to come back on that point. It's especially point number 4 was very, very interesting, but we can think at least a very, very few use cases where Ethereum can make sense. But first of all, we want to really say that we on our channel, we have been really, really strict. We have been reviewing ICOs like 800 or so, and 99%, not joking at all, everything is in our spreadsheet, 99% of them didn't pass our criteria. So it showed me just one other ICO analyst who can say that 99% didn't pass their criteria. But it wasn't a waste of time, because we pointed out the weaknesses for the people. So the people were able to see this use case makes no sense. Why are they asking for 10 million? It's just a crappy shit. So
By the way, I have in my work, or I guess in my experience, I've run across two. I don't even want to call them ICOs. I ran across two ERC20 tokens that I believe to be like legitimate. But other than the fact that they built them on top of Ethereum, which creates technological risk, but as far as conceptually, I have ran across two ERC20s that are legitimate, but they are not good investments. So the reason why I don't like to name them publicly is because Tone thinks this ERC20 token is legitimate, I better go out and buy it. It's not the same, right? Because there are what, 3,000 publicly traded companies, and they are all legitimate, right? It doesn't mean you have to go out and buy all 3,000 publicly traded companies on the New York Stock, like the Russell 2000, basically, right? So just because something is legitimate, it doesn't make it a good investment. It just means that they didn't print their own money, and the token actually makes sense. So I've run across two. I don't want to say their names, but that's pretty much my statistic.
Yeah, and it is a difference between investment point of view and the fundamental point of view, or the narrative you are talking about. So we could imagine, for example, for poker players not trusting the software they are playing on, like, I don't know, pokerstars.de or so, or .com. Maybe their blockchain or a smart contract can make sense if they don't trust the algorithm of the website, really not scamming on them and showing the cards actually to the other player or so. So that could maybe make sense, and maybe some other use cases. But in the end, as you said, Bitcoin sidechains might be able to solve that problem as well. So maybe let's go to the next topic. Before we go to the next topic, maybe, so do you actually think it might go below 20 cents? Is there also a probability function?
To me, the price of Ethereum doesn't matter. When people realize that Ethereum is useless, when people realize that you can't build anything critical on top of the Ethereum database, at that point, it doesn't really matter if Ethereum is at $3 or at 20 cents or $1. It's not coming back. Like, the big difference, and this is why the main reason why I'm expecting Bitcoin to go lower is because in the last this week, in the last couple of days, we watched Bitcoin go up 25%, but we also saw Bcash go up 100%. We saw Ethereum go up, 30 or 40%. Waves just went up 30%, right? So all of this, what I refer to as garbage, is going up faster than Bitcoin. That means that people didn't learn their lesson. I'm anticipating the end of this bear market when Bitcoin starts to go up and nothing else goes up. Everything else stays down. It's kind of like at the end of the .com bubble, when companies like Amazon started to finally bottom out and go up. The .coms that had no business, that had no clients, had no revenue, they didn't go back up. People didn't speculate on the garbage, and only the good companies went up and new companies came in. Yeah. Now, of course, none of these crypto are companies. To me, a blockchain is more like the internet itself. And this time around, when the bottom is finally there, only Bitcoin will go up. And if even other stuff does go up, it's going to go up at a significantly slower rate than Bitcoin. The moment I see these altcoins pump faster than Bitcoin on the upswing, to me it's a fake rally, and it's going to go down further.
That's one of the basic problems, because we have, not talking actually about things like Litecoin and stuff, but for example, if you take Tron, and you have this Bitcoin Tron pair, and Bitcoin goes up in US dollar, and the people FOMO in, then you have the double effect, because the Satoshi cent value goes up, and then they go in, and their paying preference goes higher, and they pay more Satoshi, and every Satoshi is worth more US dollar cents. So that really shows the high volatility of the altcoin section. It is kind of a problem, and we kind of agree with you really on 95, 99% maybe of the projects out there are not worth being traded for high prices. Maybe it will be like that a lot of these projects bottom up somewhere and the volume just drops off, so we don't see them at the price of 0, but it's not traded anymore, maybe in the worst case scenario. So let's go to the next question maybe. And can you hear me?
No, we're good. a second.
Okay, perfect. So let's go to the next question maybe, and it is on the altcoin section, and you kind of answered it already, but maybe we can wrap it up to a summary. So what is your actually take on the altcoin section? You said in December that in December 2017 that things like Litecoin, Ethereum, and Monero and stuff cannot coexist with Bitcoin long term. I think you were referring to the prices. And everyone who thinks that it can exist with high prices and stuff is an inflationist. So are you against all the altcoins out there? And yeah, if not, do you have any projects you follow besides Bitcoin?
Okay, so I don't like lumping Ethereum with Litecoin and Monero. And the reason is because Ethereum ICO'd. And Litecoin and Monero didn't ICO. So to me, Litecoin and Monero are a lot more legitimate than Ethereum. So I like to separate the altcoin space through a 4-Venn diagram. I actually made this diagram. I'm saving it for my Unconfiscatable conference in Vegas, where I'm going to do my presentation.
No screen share?
At the end of January. But I lump altcoins into 4 categories. We have the databases, which are your blockchains. They may come, the pure databases are, Hyperledger and R3, they have no token. That's the blockchain side of things, right? When you add a token into it, you have something like Ripple, which is a useless token. Then I have this whole ICO bucket, right? This is everybody that ICO'd. To me, an ICO, just like Chairman Clayton of the SEC said, you're an ICO, you didn't register with the Securities and Exchange Commission, you're an uncompliant security. I held that view for years, and I'm disappointed that the regulators in the SEC didn't actually do something about it, and maybe this bubble wouldn't have gotten so out of control. But in any case, so to me, those were always uncompliant securities. Then we have the proof of something bucket. This is your proof of importance, your proof of stake, basically your proof of nonsense. And of course, a lot of these buckets overlap. You can't really go to proof of stake unless you are really scammy and you just printed a bunch of tokens for yourself. So you have to like ICO them and then you go proof of stake. And then you have this small bucket of legitimate proof of work coins. These are your Litecoins and your Monero, and maybe there is one more, I can't recall, maybe Dogecoin, but Dash isn't really legitimate. They insta-mined a bunch of it to a single guy, and now they're half proof of stake. Zcash to me is not really legitimate. They are taking 20% from all the miners. So now we're going to talk about pure Bitcoin competitors, right? The only pure Bitcoin competitors, the best 2 out there are Litecoin and Monero. So they're both offering you 2 different things, right? So Monero, let's start with Monero. Monero is offering you better privacy. Now, Monero is significantly harder to scale, and that's pretty much the consensus. Yeah. The only reason why Monero looks so good right now is because no one's actually using it. And if you want to talk about the privacy of Monero, it doesn't really matter how private you are. When only a dozen people in the world are using it, how private are you, right? Because it doesn't really help. You still have the same on-ramps and off-ramps, right? So if your currency isn't being used worldwide by everyone, it can't possibly be that private. In addition, Monero has privacy at the deep protocol level, which creates, issues on its own, makes it harder to work with that blockchain. But the thing is, Bitcoin is going to have even better privacy than Monero on second layer solutions, and we're already seeing that now. So whatever privacy Monero is offering, Bitcoin will do just as good, if not better, and I expect that from Bitcoin. So the privacy angle of Monero will be replaced by Bitcoin's development. Now let's talk about Litecoin. And now Litecoin is offering, hey, we're the silver to Bitcoin's gold, which sounded really good until you read Saifedean's The Bitcoin Standard book, when he beautifully explains why you don't need a silver to a gold. So throughout history, silver has always been the more popular and more useful money. And Saifedean explained that's because silver was a micropayment to gold.
Yeah.
A gram of gold would always buy you too much stuff. You can't buy your cup of coffee with a gram of gold. You're gonna have to buy a whole, coffee shop with a gram of gold back in the day, right? So you needed silver for the common people as a micropayment. But in the 20th century, once technology allowed paper money to be backed by gold, I know governments went away from that, but let's say they stuck with it, you don't need silver because gold can now be infinitely divisible. And Bitcoin is almost infinitely divisible. We can divide Bitcoin to 100,000 Satoshis, and inside a Lightning channel, you can even subdivide a Satoshi, even though you can't close the Lightning channel. So you'll need several Satoshis on the Lightning channel, but then you can transact in fractions of a Satoshi. So this concept that Bitcoin will need a micropayment is no longer necessary, the way silver continues to decouple as a monetary unit while gold is still somewhat retains that property even today. And Lightning, I haven't seen any issues with Lightning, and it looks like Bitcoin is going to scale just fine. So why do you need it? And for people that believe that altcoins can coexist with Bitcoin, you're basically saying that you don't care about hard money and you don't care about the finite supply of Bitcoin. If you believe that Litecoin would coexist, then you might as well add inflation to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has way more mining on it. It's a way more of a secure chain. A lot smarter people are coding it. It's a lot less risky. So why would you want to add another currency that is significantly more dangerous to use? If you want more monetary units, you should be, screaming that Bitcoin needs inflation, like the 2% a year or something. Like, believing in altcoins is a belief in fiat currency. It's a belief in inflation. I don't see it. There's also technological reasons why I don't see, or like economic reasons, I should say, as to why I don't see Monero and Litecoin existing, because there is a lot of money that's going into research and development of mining equipment and buying that mining equipment. It's safer to mine a Bitcoin. Like, I still have my old Bitcoin miner from 2 years ago. I still have it running because I want to support the Bitcoin network even at a loss of paying an electricity bill, even though I happen to own a property where the electricity bill is kind of subsidized by the whole community. So it's great. I mean, as long as I run one miner, no one's going to notice. If I start building a farm, I'm going to change the rules of the community. But the point is, people are investing in this mining equipment and these operations for the long haul. Eventually, why would you risk mining an inferior chain that could get 51% attacked and all this other stuff? Like, the research and development in these altcoins is going to stop. The equipment is not going to be up to date. They're all going to go away. Another economic incentive, I don't want to go on and on about this, but I have infinite number of reasons in my head, and it's so obvious to me, and it's hard for me to believe that so few people understand these concepts. It is so easy to 51% attack any other altcoin. For example, if someone found a way to 51% attack Litecoin and destroy Litecoin, it doesn't matter, because the moment they attack it, if the attack is profitable, they instantly can cash out into Bitcoin and run away with the money. And this creates it very challenging to 51% attack Bitcoin. Even from the financial perspective, it's almost infinitely harder. But from a game theory, prisoner's dilemma perspective, by 51% attacking Bitcoin, you destroy all blockchains. You don't have an exit strategy. You 51% attack Bitcoin, you won't be able to exit with your profit. So 51% attacking Bitcoin destroys the network at no financial benefit to you, but 51% attacking any other coin allows you to exit with a coin that's more secure for your attack. And I can go on and on and on as to why I only expect Bitcoin to be there at the end. Plus the fact that it grew up in the wild, it was worthless in the beginning. People develop Bitcoin because they're invested in Bitcoin, because they love Bitcoin. I will continue to mine it. forever as far as I'm concerned, just like some programmers will continue to improve on it forever because we actually believe in it and not for the financial aspect of it because we're trying to change the world.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much. I mean, this is a really, really different opinion to most of the people out there. You already said it. No one is really talking about that, but it is very important. And guys, we really want to incentivize you to take notes because there is this one thing out there. It's called confirmation bias. And you shouldn't be only accepting opinions which actually reflect your own opinion. You really should accept other contradicting opinions and yeah, take them objectively into consideration and question them by doing your own research. So thank you so much for that. And it is also yeah.
One thing, like I can name dozens of arguments against multiple coins existing. The only two arguments that someone can say for why they're going to exist, one of them is that they're innovating something new, and the answer is I don't believe that they are innovating something new. And if they did innovate something new, it would be incorporated into Bitcoin just as easily. And the other major argument that people have is, oh, but it's competition. You don't believe in competition. Sure, you can believe in competition, but Amazon has lots of competitors, but it continues to separate from those competitors. And the only way Amazon will not separate from those competitors is if they like implode themselves or the regulators, take them out. But the regulators can't take out Bitcoin in order to level the playing field. That's not how this blockchain game works. And the competition angle, it doesn't create efficiency. We have competition in languages. That creates gross inefficiencies. How much easier would it be to do business around the world if everyone not only spoke the same language, only spoke the same language? Like, I come from the former Soviet Union, and there was like 15 countries all speaking Russian. I mean, it's kind of great for the cultures of those countries that separated to bring back their own languages. And I currently still have the advantage when I go back to those countries. Most of the people there still speak English, but it's going away. It makes it so much harder. Now I have 15 more countries where I have a problem communicating because they've stopped speaking Russian and started speaking their own language. Like, look, I understand the whole cultural dynamic of it, but man, how much easier would it be if everyone spoke the same language? Just think about that.
Yeah, but if you are correct with your theory, then it will come one day. And we talked about that a couple of days or 2 or 3 weeks ago. We talked about network effects on Bitcoin and why Bitcoin is so strong and meant to be strong also in the future. And the reason is something called the Metcalfe's law. And everyone who joins the system actually, by increasing the number of participants in the system, you're increasing the security and the worthiness and stuff of the system itself. And Bitcoin has this competitive advantage as being a first mover and as having this narrative you were talking about before. So we actually really share that opinion that Bitcoin has the strongest value proposition out there. Even though we are not as strict as you, we really agree for 100% that Bitcoin is by far the top one position to look out there, especially because of the network effects. So we at MMCrypto, we say is that like since the existence of our channel like 1.5 years ago, that Bitcoin is our favorite position, and it is still, and it might be like for hundreds of years if we are alive for such a long time. So we share that opinion, but now we talked a lot about altcoins, Ethereum and stuff. We really want to come back to focus on Bitcoin right now and focus on the future of Bitcoin. So maybe can you give us a prediction of the Bitcoin price maybe in the short, mid and long term, also with maybe a probability function attached to it, maybe a best case scenario?
Sure. So my short-term view is bullish. I am expecting Bitcoin to go up. We're currently sitting just above 4,000. I am looking for Bitcoin to go above 5,000, maybe as high as 6,000, but probably unlikely. My upper end target is 6,000. Now, as we know, anything can happen. What is my probability of Bitcoin going above 5,000 and as high as 6,000? I give that more than a 50% shot. I give it about a 60 to 70% chance that right now Bitcoin will go above $5,000, or at least, come close enough. There's always these margins of error. And that's why I'm comfortable holding my short-term position right now to be bullish in Bitcoin. Now, that is separate from my hodling position, right? So that is a long-term outlook. My super long-term outlook is, of course, bullish. Bitcoin over 100,000, Bitcoin to the moon. I probably shouldn't have to say it. So my midterm outlook remains bearish. So after we continue to go up from here, I don't know how long this is going to last. But I do expect sometime next year, probably in Q1 of next year, in the first 3 months, I expect us to turn around from this $5,000 to $6,000 area and start to go back down. I am expecting us to go below 3,000. How far below 3,000? It's hard to say. My worst case scenario is about 1,300. My best case scenario is about 2,500. That's my best case scenario if we go down. What's my probability that if I'm giving it a 60 to 70% chance that we're going to break 5,000, what is my probability that we're going to fall below 3,000 at some point next year? At the moment, I'm giving that about a 55% chance, maybe as high as 60% chance that we are going to go back down and hit new lows. Then it becomes tricky because what do we define as the end to the bear market? I believe the bear market is going to end in 2019. But what is the definition of the end of the bear market? Let's go back to 2015. The price low came in around January 6th when Bitcoin dropped to 150 bucks. But then the entire first 9 months of the year, so between January 1st and I believe like September 15th or something like that, Bitcoin was between 150 and like 350. And in August of that year, it fell once again down to $160, almost reaching the same low. So to me, the bear market didn't actually end until around October of 2015, even though the price low came in January. So I believe that the bear market for Bitcoin is going to end in 2019, but I have no idea when the price low is going to show up. I believe that by October, November, we'll start to go up. I don't know if the low will be made in October, November, or is the low going to be made in January or February? Nobody knows. So to me, the fundamentals of Bitcoin are very strong, and the fundamentals of Bitcoin is the code of Bitcoin, the fact that it is trustless, the fact that it is decentralized, it's the most diverse coin out there, it's the most spread around the world coin. I think it's the only investment grade coin there is. I would never keep any money in any other coin besides Bitcoin I wouldn't hold it for any period of time, but no sane person, if I gave you a choice, for example, hey, if I gifted you let's say, or your own money, right? Or let's say if I gifted you, what would you rather take? Let's say $10,000 in Bitcoin or $20,000 in any other crypto of your choice, but you can't touch it for 5 years. What would you choose?
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, right?
Yes.
Even if I give you double the money. So in any other coin of your choice. So to me, Bitcoin is the only coin you can hold for a long period of time. And so its fundamentals are strong. But I have 4 things here. We have price. I expect the price to go between 1,300 and 2,500. Now we have the time aspect. I just explained the time element to you. It really depends. Like, where is the bear market? If we stay at 2,500 for the entire year 2019, that's probably the bottom. If we stay at 2,500 long enough, that's the bottom. But if we crash on January 2nd down to $1,000 and pop back up to 3,000, then the bear market probably ended. We could start going up right then and there, or we could get stuck at 3,000. It doesn't matter at that point, right? So there's time targets, there's price targets, and then there's news targets. Now, I believe that news never changes a bull market to a bear or a bear market to a bull. But there are significant global news events. For example, if the euro currency breaks up into its components, Germany goes back to the Deutschmark, Italians go back to the lira, the French go back to the franc. I believe that is a very critical event that could send Bitcoin into new all-time highs and kick off a new bull market. So I don't see that as a fundamental event. I see that as a news-driven event. Another huge banking crisis, if the Italian banks collapse, for example, and people start pulling money in Europe from other countries, the elimination of cash by countries, like if the US declares, hey, we're going to eliminate the $100 US bill. So these news events could drive Bitcoin to new levels, and the bear market could end that way as well. So I am looking for the end of the bear market in 2019, and that's my general outlook on it.
Yeah, let's hope though. So it is at least really kind of a bullish opinion. Many people out there are now so wrecked and bullish because they really lost a lot of money, especially with that altcoin section. So let's hope 2019 is the year of the reversal. And yeah, we can only agree on your points because we don't have any influence on the exogenous risk, such as currency crisis and so on. So yeah, that might really trigger some kind of reversal. So our next question would have been, what will trigger the next bull market? You kind of answered that already. Do you have maybe some kind of a summary on that? What might trigger the next bull market?
That's the thing. You can't predict. Little news events are not going to trigger a bull market. It needs to be like a news event on a global scale that affects the financial system more than it affects Bitcoin. The only way a news-driven event is going to end the bear market of Bitcoin is if that news event creates bigger problems for the traditional financial system. Mm-hmm. Other than that, bear markets end when the last seller has sold. Bull markets end when the last buyer has bought and no one is willing to pay that high of a price. So I'm still waiting for guys like Novogratz and maybe even Tim Draper, for these big massive holders to kind of give up on Bitcoin. That would be the last seller selling.
Novogratz is still very, very bullish. He said we will bounce between 3,000 and 6,000. So he's not there yet.
Right. So see that, but the big difference is it's not his personal money. It's the money for his investors and pressure. He can say it, but I don't know if you've ever managed other people's money, but you don't always have a choice in this matter. Your investors will pull their money out and give it to another manager.
Yeah, and he definitely has some stake in the game. He might be biased at some point. So yeah, very, very interesting. And thanks for wrapping that up and telling us something about your prediction of the future prices. We want to come back to something else, and also regarding the Bitcoin prices in the future. What's your take actually on this kind of financial instruments like BACT or the Bitcoin ETF? Do you think it has some kind of an importance to the Bitcoin market and the crypto market, or is there no importance at all in the long run? So what's your actual take on that?
I can make this quick. I think that Bitcoin ETF will have major implications on the market, but the Bitcoin ETF isn't coming. I'm not expecting it. I've been shutting down this idea of a Bitcoin ETF since early 2017 when these rumors started, and I said there's no way they're going to approve a Bitcoin ETF. So I don't think it's coming anytime soon. When it actually shows up, I'm happy to discuss the implications of it. BACT is just another exchange. I don't see them doing anything different than what Gemini is currently doing with the Winklevi twins. I don't see it any different than Gemini. I don't see it any different from other exchanges, other than they probably have the money to hire very good developers. They're going to have very good security. They have a handle on regulation. They're going to be just more responsible. So it'll be a more responsible exchange. I don't think it's going to change all that much. Mm-hmm. If somebody really wants to buy Bitcoin today, they can buy Bitcoin today, right? It's not going to make that much of a difference either. The biggest thing everyone's talking about is these stable coins. Somehow they're going to make a difference, like new versions of Tether. To me, that's just fiat coins. Like, we have stable coins. They're called US dollar and all the other fiat currencies, government currencies. That's not going to change anything either. The only major things are happening is you got to look at the Bitcoin code. You got to look at version 1 of SegWit coming in. We're currently on version 0 of SegWit. Version 1 will have Schnorr, will have Taproot. It's going to have some amazing scaling features. It's going to have some amazing fungibility features. Bitcoin will have privacy. It will have scale. Those are the major things in Bitcoin. It's not what the financial people are doing. It's what's happening under the hood with the development.
Okay, so as a last question maybe now, you talked about second layer solutions before. Which kind of second layer solutions are you looking at? I'm pretty sure it will be the Lightning Network, but is there something else maybe you are taking a look at?
Well, right. Lightning Network is slowly going to come into beta. I have not yet tested out the Lightning Network. I'm still using my traditional wallet. I just like my schedule is completely insane, traveling the world, speaking everywhere. But I do believe in Lightning. I think it's going to solve a lot of our scaling solutions. Side chains are starting to come out. We have the Liquid side chain already out. There's a couple of more coming out soon. Rootstock's still trying to do something. We will see how that goes. Project out of Italy from a VHB network. That one is going to be another side chain. So a lot of this stuff is going to move on to Bitcoin side chains, which can give you, other scaling solutions. Hey, you can probably run your whole community on this side chain with slightly different rule sets. I'm not really sure how that's going to work, but I just can't see any real innovation coming out of this altcoin space. I mean, the people that are programming Bitcoin, they've been trying to do this for 10 years before Satoshi. Satoshi solved that one mechanism with mining. And now people that have been trying to do all this stuff finally get to do it. Like I'm a believer in Adam Smith's work from Wealth of Nations, where it's basically, hey, the GDP and the wealth of your country is fully dependent on the brain power of the people in that country. And that's what Bitcoin is. That's where the smartest people are programming. Yeah. That's what's going to take currency to the next level. Not someone that claims to have fixed all of Bitcoin's problems in a month.
Yeah. Also, Rootstock will be very interesting, but you said before that decentralized smart contracts are not so important, but Rootstock actually will implement smart contracts on the Bitcoin sidechain. So do you think that will have some kind of importance for the ecosystem?
I don't. I still believe that Google will be able to do your smart contracts better. I just don't see a need to decentralize them, but hey, I'm happy for Rootstock. I think they're doing it the honest way. I think they're doing it the right way. And now it becomes a matter of, efficiency. Do you need to do it this way? It's more like, hey, you're running a business and you're talking to your IT guys. Hey, what database should we use for this project? And they come back to you with a solution. So just because Rootstock gives you the ability to run a smart contract on top of Bitcoin, it doesn't mean that you should.
So good things about Rootstock is they are taking advantage of that network effects, but and the incentive structure is also very nice. They are supporting the miners, and also let's say you have this smart contract on the sidechain, you are incentivized to buy Bitcoin, to pack it, and to get the smart Bitcoin and actually run the Rootstock's network. So the incentive structure behind it is also very supportive for Bitcoin, but we have to say they collected a lot of money. So they had this Rift token selling, and we also evaluated them, and the whole project got very nice scores, but they failed the hard cap because they were collecting more than 100 million US dollar, which was way too high in our opinion. So
unfortunately, I actually I don't like that either, but I didn't look into any details of that into that sale, but they were collecting money for the purposes of funding. They didn't come up with some crazy excuse for a token hey, you need this XRP to move data around, hey, you need this Binance token to actually have to pay fees on our exchange. If they collected money, so basically they were probably just a security. Again, I don't like it. So we will see what happens.
But to be honest, on that point, on one point, they gave out a Rift token. So that Rift token, they implemented some kind of a use case. It was a long time ago. I think it was some kind of staking it for masternode purposes or so. I don't quote me on that, but if so, this really would go against all your core values.
Yeah,
but
and you're right. Then it would. Then I just like I have not looked into it. But my view is simple. Like if you're gonna build something, build it. Or like don't complain that you don't have enough money to build it. You know, it's amazing how, like another example I used to give, people are buying into all of these ICOs, and I say, hey, if your crazy cousin came to you with an idea asking you for money, you would laugh in his face and walk away. And the probability is that crazy cousin of yours with an idea is 100 times more qualified than most of the people you give the money to for the ICO.
And it's greed. The reason is greed. Yeah. And we have to get rid of that greed. So looking at the watch now, we have another interview coming up. Very, very sad because it has been so entertaining to talk with you. You have really very, very critical views on the whole ecosystem out there, and it was really, really nice to get the other side of the coin and get your insights on the altcoin section, on the future of Bitcoin. So thank you so much for taking your time, and maybe there will be a second time or so in the future. It was really, really great to talk to you and to get some insights. Again, guys, go through the comment section down below. Vays channel is linked there. Great content, really great content. You will get really another view on the Bitcoin and altcoin market out there. Thank you so much for taking your time, Tone, and hope to see you again in the future.
Yeah, no, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me on. And hey, I'm Tone Vays on Twitter, Tone Vays on YouTube. I'm putting together my first conference, January 24th to 26th in Las Vegas, called Unconfiscatable, with a celebrity poker tournament.
So that being said, guys, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to our channel as well, and leave all your questions in the comment section down below. Everything will be answered. So that being said, thank you so much for watching. My name is Chris. See you at the next episode of MMCrypto, and bye-bye.